only God could have come up with this wacky, bizarre, completely different from anything else in the world molecule and created the world around that molecule and made it the source of life and the source of pretty much every weathering and weather change we've got is based on these weird properties of water. So, questions before I get started? Yes, no, maybe so? There's a lab on Tuesday. There's a quiz on Thursday. The quiz will cover the history of the Earth, so section 23.6. It will cover nuclear decay, nuclear properties, so 10.1 and 10.2. And it will cover properties of water, so section 3.3 primarily, although there are a few things in these notes that are not in the book. Or they're in the book, they're in weird places, so they're just going to be from the slide. All right, ready? Review phases of water. Ice is
cold water.
Frozen, or it is solid, right? What phase is it? It is a solid. When we say water, we're really referring to which form?
H2O.
Liquid. Good. And then when water becomes a gas, it's called water what?
Vapor.
Vapor. Good. Ice is solid water. Water is the liquid form. And water vapor is a gas. We're in second grade science at this point. Here is a piece of ice. And you see how the water molecules are in these circles? They're in a very rigid structure, a crystal structure. Do you see how much space there is in between here? So remember how we talked about water is how dense versus ice is less dense than water, right? That's because of all this space in the middle of this crystal lattice formed by water. Okay, this is liquid water, and now the molecules can move, so they're not in this rigid structure, and you can see they slide around very close to each other, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then gas, at this point, they have so much kinetic energy that they are flying around and bouncing off of things, okay? So, much less dense than the liquid form. Okay, phase changes. This is just a review of vocabulary we've already done, except the last one. That one's new. Okay, so when ice becomes liquid water, it's called melting.
Cold water.
When ice becomes water vapor, that's called sublimation. Good. When liquid water becomes water vapor at the boiling point,
It's called boiling.
it's called boiling. When liquid water becomes a gas below the boiling point,
Evaporation.
evaporation. Good. You're golden. Water vapor becoming liquid water. So what happens in clouds?
Condensation.
Condensation. And when water vapor becomes ice, we didn't talk about this. It's the opposite of sublimation. Deposition. Okay. So this is when when water vapor in the air becomes ice rather than becoming liquid water. It goes straight from gas to solid. Doesn't happen very often, but when you're outside and it's below freezing, when you breathe out and it makes a little cloud, very often that little cloud is not really made of drops of water condensing, it's made of ice crystals. So you made a little patch of snow. It's called rock, and Garrett?
So could we melt rock and make stuff out of it?
No. Well, yes. That's what glass blowing is. But in here, no. Okay, so when a rock melts, you go from rock to magma, right? So lots of substances on Earth go through these same phase changes. The reason we're talking about water is that it goes through these phase changes all the time on Earth. it's not normal, really, for a rock to be melted. It's not normal for iodine to be a liquid. It likes to either be a solid or a gas. So water is unique in that it is the only common substance that exists in all three phases all the time, all over Earth. So these are just pictures of the phase changes. We've already talked about them. We already saw another picture. But liquid becoming a gas is evaporation or boiling, depending on the temperature, right? And gas becoming a liquid is condensation. Liquid freezing becomes a solid. Melting it becomes a liquid again. And I didn't do the solid to gas one. I didn't have a good picture of it.